Hello, 87. Hope everyone's doing well today. The purpose of this video is to explain the NBA WNBA ratio and rate question that I talked about on Tuesday. So what I'm going to do is flick back and forth between a couple of tabs, one of the assignment and another with the data that we're going to use. And then I'm also going to be splicing in some hand-drawn stuff to kind of demonstrate how to do the calculations. It's my first crack at it, so we'll see how it goes. Now that I'm on the assignment page, what we're going to do is we're going to figure out who we want to play with, either a WNBA player or an NBA player, based on how efficient they are. Who does the most while using the least. And for NBA players, we're going to think about how much time they have the ball in their hand compared to how many points they score. And for WNBA players, we're going to think about how much money they make compared to how many points they score. Obviously, it's more efficient if you score more with the ball less, and it's also more efficient if you score more while getting paid less. This is a little link with some trick shots of one of the players that you'll be comparing if you use the NBA version. So I'm going to walk you through the NBA version. So what we're looking at here is the top 5 players in the NBA based on how many times they touch the ball per game. So if I go up here, I'm going to use, here's the top 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but I'm going to use Kyle Lowry. He's a Raptor. And if I go over here, Kyle Lowry has the ball in his hands 84 times per game. And he averages 4.1 seconds per touch. So if I do that math, Kyle Lowry ends up with the ball in his hands for 348 seconds per game. Great. What does he do with all that time with the ball? Well, he scores 19.5 points per game on average, right there. So what we're going to do over here is we're going to calculate, we've already done this, we calculated the total seconds of possession per game. That's touches times average seconds per touch. Now we're going to figure out the rate of seconds of possessions to average points. We'll do that by dividing total seconds of possession by average points. So he has 348 seconds per game divided by average points. And that gives us 17.84 seconds per point. That means he has to hold the ball in his hands for 17 seconds for every point that he scores. So once you do that for all 5 guys right here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then you're going to go down to who's the most efficient. Well, one of them will stand out. This will be the player that's uses the fewest seconds for each point that he scores. This is your initial impression based on the first calculation. But are they truly the most efficient? So what then you want to do is add in another variable. It could be assists, rebounds, amount that they play, to make your argument a little more clear. So I'm going to do that for Kyle Lowry. I'm going to go up here, and when I click on Kyle Lowry, it'll take me to his stats. And once I'm in at his stats, I can now look at this and say, oh, well, you know what? Kyle Lowry plays 36 minutes a game. And compared to another player, he actually plays a lot more. So for the amount of time that he's on the floor, he actually has the ball in his hands less. So he is more efficient. Or I could look over here and I could say, oh, Kyle Lowry actually averages 7.7 assists per game. So he does something else with the time he has the ball in his hand. An assist, you don't know, is when you pass the ball to someone on your team and they score a basket. So it's helping your teammates out. If you have the ball in your hands a lot, but you also create a lot of assists, you're doing other stuff besides scoring. So I want you to use another variable to figure out, okay, is it just based on, is it only time and points that we want to consider? Do we want to consider other variables? For the WNBA version, you're doing something similar, but you're talking about average points per game compared to how much money they make, and you'll find the average points per game here, and you'll find the salary rankings here. So you'll have to look at the top 5 players and then find those players on this list here. And then you're going to do something similar right here. And you want to kind of refine your argument by looking at 1 or 2 other variables. If you get to this step 2 and you're stuck, let me know. Otherwise, good luck.